Welcome back, YouTube. Today we got Times Chef Disrespected Gordon Ramsay. Hell's Kitchen. I need to see Master Chef version of this. Master Chef version probably way better. No wait, Kitchen Nightmares. Kitchen Nightmares might be way better. But make sure you hit the like button if you want to. You're not going to, but if you want to. Wish y'all would, but y'all don't. Alright, let's go.
These are the times that chefs disrespected Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen. And this guy laughed in Chef Ramsay's face while he was being berated. Vinny Fama was a contestant in the 3rd season who ranked in 8th place. Vinny was one of the most unpleasant chefs to be around on Hell's Kitchen. Sure, he was a bad chef, but did he at least help his teammates?
Oh. Well, I ain't buying that. Regular HD.
Nope, he sucked at that too. But the most annoying thing was that he was disrespectful since he had forgotten to trim it properly. Despite that, Vinny tried to bounce back, but the famous chef accused them of being inconsistent with all of the meat entrees. However, Vinny still believed that his new batch was perfect. But Chef Ramsay was curious to know how much food Vinny had wasted. So when Ramsay went over to check the garbage, you won't believe what he found.
Oh, makes sense.
That night, both teams lost the dinner service and Vinny wasn't nominated, much to Chef Ramsay's surprise. But Ramsay wasn't gonna let him get away scot-free. He overruled all of the other nominations from both teams and
Nigga
picked
said,
Vinny instead.
"Nah,
This
Vinny.
was Vinny's only chance to convince Chef Ramsay with a genuine plea. When Vinny declared himself as the most qualified chef, Ramsay asked him to show some humility and accept his mistakes. After a lot of thought, Vinny finally admitted that he didn't have control over the meat station. And this was all Chef Ramsay needed to eliminate him. Thanks to his poor performance and lack of responsibility, he was booted out. But this next chef, who remained idle...
To be honest, him making him admit it made him help himself. Like, you finally admitted you fucked up. You're fine now. Go. You learn from this.
Throughout his entire time on the show,
shit.
snubbed Chef Ramsay as he left. Mike Aresta was a contestant in season 12 who ranked in 17th place. Mike was also one of the worst chefs on Hell's Kitchen. He had absolutely no collaborative skills and would disrespect not only his teammates, but also the famous chef. From day one, Mike's attitude was so awful that it was evident that he didn't care about anything. During the signature dish challenge, he was the 4th person to have his dish judged by Chef Ramsay. And he went up against Kasia Zolokoffer. To prove his skills as a chef, Mike presented tortellini with tomatoes. Mike said that he had used packaged cheese instead of something fresh. Chef Ramsay was already grossed out, but he was stunned when Mike revealed that the tomato sauce was canned. Basically, his entire dish wasn't fresh. And the only thing Chef Ramsay could think of doing was this.
Come on, that was a joke.
Mike, who lost the round to Kasia, was offended with Chef Ramsay's reaction to his dish. Instead of just going back in line, Mike started to vent about the incident, which was all heard by Ramsay. Well, obviously, it didn't really go well from there.
What did you just say? Yeah, okay. You got anything to say to me? Say it to my face, not my back. Got it. Off.
The first 2 days, Mike wasn't really seen much. However, on day 2, he was seen apologizing to a table after Jean-Philippe forced him to. Apparently, Mike had served the dish to the wrong table. Then we saw him far more on the 3rd day onwards. During the dinner service, Mike was at the fish station with Chris Eversole. At one point, he told Chris to drop the scallops even though Chris said it wasn't on order. As a result, Mike became confused like an idiot.
No, not on this one. It's a f***ing risotto. Now you confuse me.
This was just the beginning of Mike's downfall. Later, he sent out an encrusted halibut that Chris had forgotten to put on. Soon after, Mike delivered another halibut, but had to refire it because Michael DeMarco forgot to leave the bone on the chicken. Anyway, that night, the blue team was kicked out of the kitchen after making several mistakes. During the deliberations, Chris accused Mike of doing nothing the entire night. When Mike reminded Chris about wanting to lead, Jason Zapoltis reminded him that he just stood around doing absolutely nothing. Mike then picked Michael Gabriel for nomination for doing the same amount of work as he did. But Gabriel accused him, like everyone else, of being idle the entire time. But Mike didn't take the criticism very well. He started to get angry, but the blue team was done with them. Soon, things got intense when Jason gave a little message to Mike.
Go back to the grocery store, bud.
Mike was the undisputed nominee from the blue team, but surprisingly, he survived elimination. Not really because Chef Ramsay thought that he deserved to continue, but because Simone Hammond decided to leave. However, the next day was a different story. During the dinner service, Mike was at the appetizer station with Ralph Johnson. At one point, when Ralph called for a minute on his ravioli, Mike decided to pour them all into a pot early on. And this made Ralph really angry. However, I think the team was better off without his help because Mike ended up sending out a ravioli with no lobster. Ramsay then gave the team one final warning to get a grip of themselves. But instead, Mike, along with Ralph, sent up some watery ravioli. After multiple mistakes from the blue team, Chef Ramsay got the red team to help them out. During the eliminations, Mike was the blue team's first nominee. During his plea, he told Chef Ramsay that nobody wanted help from him. But Ramsay understandably asked him why his teammates didn't trust him. While he said that he didn't know, Jason jumped in and added that Mike failed to do anything of value the entire time.
Damn.
Mike then requested for a transfer to the red team, but the red team didn't want him at all. Since nobody wanted Mike, it doesn't surprise me that Chef Ramsay didn't want him on the show either. While throughout the competition, Mike was highly disrespectful to his teammates, he did the unthinkable after being eliminated.
Drop the jacket. Oh.
But this next contestant accused Chef Ramsay of sabotaging her. Wow, now that's...
Yeah, I know this one. I saw this one. I don't care about her. Her elimination was needed. It was really needed. God damn, this is long.
heavy. Jen Gavin was a contestant in season 4 who ranked in 4th place. Jen also came back in season 18 and ranked in 15th place. Yeah, Jen knew how to cook and showed quite a few leadership skills, but she wasn't exactly a team player. She often fought with her teammates, disrespected them, and argued with them. As a result, none of her teammates even liked her. Moreover, Jen even argued with the sous chef and didn't even spare Chef Ramsay. On the first day during the dinner service, Jen served as a floater. When she saw Sharon Stewart struggling with the appetizers, Jen started to push Sharon around. Then, both of them gave different timings on their appetizers, much to Chef Ramsay's annoyance. After Sharon started to struggle, Chef Ramsay assigned Jen to the appetizer station. While she claimed to have tremendous skill despite her age, Chef Ramsay discovered that she flipped quail eggs when they weren't even needed. Later, when Chef Ramsay made Rosanne Fama the team leader, Jen was unhappy since he should have chosen her. With her finally sending out a good risotto, the red team started pushing out their appetizers and eventually won the service. In the second episode after losing the challenge, Jen got upset with the red team for choosing Corey Erling. Corey lost the round to Ben Kaler, and that led to the red team losing. During the punishment, she continued to be a sore loser and blamed Corey for everything. Even though Christina McAmer reminded her that it was a team failure, Jen continued to be mad.
All of our fault, we're a team. Sure.
But like I said earlier, Jen was a great leader. On day 4, Jen was at her best and led her team to victory. She was so good that even Chef Ramsay praised her for it. During the dinner service, Jen was at the appetizer station. Right from the very beginning, she was very vocal with the team. She gave clear instructions to Roseanne and Shayna Zadok and communicated very well. Because of Jen's strong leadership, the red team managed to complete the service. They even had time to help the blue kitchen out.
Well done.
Yes!
Get in there and help them. Move.
From day 7 onwards, however, there was a change in Jen's attitude. She started to become very unbearable. During the next dinner service, when the red team moved on to the entrees, Jen told Roseanne not to fire her order yet. But Chef Ramsay wasn't
got
happy
cocky.
about this and schooled her.
Well, cockier.
You cook, okay? Let's get that right.
Soon after, when Christina asked for the timing, Jen became unresponsive and clammed up. She even started to get angry with Chef Ramsay.
And then got
Sometime
butthurt.
later, when Roseanne sent out some
Got
raw
butthurt.
along with Sin, Chef Ramsay pulled the red team over to make them touch it. But when Chef Ramsay saw Jen walking away, he accused her of giving up. However, instead of just getting her act together, Jen made the mistake of trying to talk back. And Chef Ramsay didn't think twice before shutting her down. But it looks like the pressure was getting to Jen and she was turning into a confused mess. When Chef Ramsay asked for the garnishes, Jen wasn't ready and this pissed him off. Due to her lack of communication, he berated her.
You're one cocky lady, and someone knows Jack. You know that.
Jen obviously wasn't happy with how Chef Ramsay was belittling her. Despite all of the problems, it was surprising to see the red team win the service. After the elimination round, Chef Ramsay asked the red team who wanted to switch over to the blue team. Knowing how much the red team disliked Jen's attitude, Corey tried to convince her to volunteer, which irritated Jen. However, the next morning, Jen surprisingly volunteered to go to the blue team. But once there, rather than trying to get along with the team, Jen started to get on their nerves. During the 20 ingredients challenge, Jen picked everything from her dish without asking anyone. At one point, when Bobby Anderson revealed that his veal was subpar, Jen arrogantly suggested that LaRosse Adrenaline could do some surf and turf with it. With only a few minutes left for plating, Jen got annoyed with LaRosse since he wasn't doing things correctly. When the time was up, LaRosse forgot to add the veal, and Jen tried to convince him to lie to Chef Ramsay that he used 5 ingredients instead of 4. However, LaRosse didn't take Jen's advice and told Chef Ramsay the truth. And this made Jen furious. As a result, the blue team was disqualified since LaRosse hadn't added the veal. During the punishment, Jen constantly complained about the loss and even gave attitude to Jean-Philippe. When Jean-Philippe inquired about if she would be sour all day, this is how she reacted.
I think it's not fair for your colleagues.
It's not fair that I'm here, so whatever. My dish was flawless.
Later on, Jen and LaRosse were constantly picking on each other. The next day, during the relay challenge, Jen was getting on her teammates' nerves yet again with her attitude.
Of course.
As soon as I left that kitchen, I said, you got all your stuff here. You don't have to run for nothing. And it was up to her.
She was confident about her dish, but when it came to judging the scallops, Chef Ramsay noticed that the scallops were raw in the center, and Jen wasn't happy about this. Then, when Ramsay was about to judge her John Dory, he noticed that the sauce was missing. Jen then mumbled something under her breath, and Chef Ramsay schooled her for giving him an attitude.
Come on. We're in a professional establishment. Chef, no sauce. I forgot. I burnt it.
The following day, Chef Ramsay announced the Create Your Own Menu Challenge. Jen, as usual, wasn't being a team player and completely disregarded her team's input. The menu was rejected by Chef Ramsay anyway, since he found it to be hideous. Jen continued on with her sour attitude throughout her time on Hell's Kitchen. And finally, her time on the show ended on day 12. Despite having a good start, Jen couldn't sustain her performance and ended up being the team's first nominee. During her plea, she called herself a great team player, which we all know is a big lie. But you know what's not a lie? The fact that I appreciate your support. So, as a thank you for all the effort I put into these videos, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more.
Yeah, she lied her ass
It's
off.
completely free, so why not just do it?
Her teamwork
With
is
that out of the way,
trash.
let's reveal what happened to Jen. That very night, Jen was eliminated for her poor attitude and terrible collaborative skills. However, Chef Ramsay did praise her for her growth and for finally listening. Later on, Jen came back and her attitude was just as awful. However, this time around, her stay was really short. On day 3, during the dinner service, she was constantly arguing with sous chef Jockey. What's more, when Chef Ramsay pointed out that Jen didn't send enough portions of garnish for 2 entrees, Jen did something unthinkable. She accused Chef Ramsay of sabotaging her. Who even does that? This infuriated Chef Ramsay to the point that he eliminated her right on the spot.
You lying, Chef. You trying to sabotage me right now. You set me up.
Get out!
I wonder what made her so sour. I mean, in season 4, Jen did come across as a passionate chef who was there to make a good impression. But when she came back in the 17th season, everyone expected her to redeem herself. Anyway, do you know any other contestants who came back only to have a disastrous performance?
I was expecting her to blow up, and she blew up. Love it. Love to see it. Make sure to leave a comment down below what to react to next. I am running out of ideas. I'm doing a lot of Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmare shit. Mostly just Gordon Ramsay shit. So, if you got something to give me, put it down below.